And welcome back to more Pikmin! So last time, we cleared the way to the final ship part in the final trial, and this time, we will be returning to collect it. But first, I want to show what happens when you're missing at least one optional ship part, and also what happens when you're missing at least one required ship part. The day when my life support system fails has come. I have collected only 29 out of 30 ship parts, but I have no choice but to attempt to launch the Dolphin into space. Incomplete as it is, the ship doesn't need every lost part in order to fly. For better or worse, I must go. And with that out of the way, let's collect the final ship part. For today, I want to bring along 33 of each type of Pikmin. This is the final ship part after all, so I thought it would be fitting to collect it with an even number of each type. By the way, the Emperor Bulblax does not respawn, so thankfully all that's left to do is to collect the final ship part itself, and also, the only obstacle is getting past these bridges again. My advice would be to use swarming, like up and down like this, to kind of make them line up a little bit more neatly and not fan out quite as much. And also just keep an eye on any stragglers, in case, one falls. But with that, there it is. At long last, I found the final part, my secret safe, and it's as full as ever. How glad I am that I've persisted in my search without losing hope. Now I can leave this planet without any regrets. Maybe I'll even stop and pick up some souvenirs for my wife and kids back on planet Hokotate. In the Japanese version, this requires 85 Pikmin to carry, while in the US version, and I assume the European version as well, it only requires 40, with a maximum of 95. With the remaining Pikmin, I want to show something off though. We can actually have the Pikmin carry Olimar if we press 2 and lie down. Doing so will not turn Olimar into a Pikmin like in the bad ending, but instead we get fireworks. Kind of a nice little Easter egg. Obviously, depending on which group is the majority, they'll take Olimar to a different onion, but yeah, kind of a nice way to end our final day. I have finally recovered every ship part. Now I can return home to Hokotate. Alright, so here are our final stats. Overall, not too bad actually. I didn't break my record for most Pikmin raised in my practice run, but I got really close actually, and of course we did not lose any Pikmin. So with that, we have reached the end of the game. I really enjoyed revisiting Pikmin. It's a game I normally replay a bunch, and it was nice having a reason to try something different, specifically the Wii version. Overall, I did come around on it. I used to dislike it because of how glitchy it is, but then I went back and realized, wait, these glitches were here the whole time. So it's also in the GameCube version. So now, I would say the Wii version is probably my preferred way to play. The controls are mostly a lot better. Some of the tweaks to the Pikmin's AI and overall behavior are really helpful actually, and make things a lot smoother. Overall, this game does have quite a few issues. It's far from perfect, and definitely pales in comparison specifically to Pikmin 3, because of how much that game improves upon the formula established in this game. I'm not sure how easily I can recommend this one, because one, it has aged kind of poorly, and it's also pretty rare. Like, GameCube copies are pretty expensive, Wii copies are pretty expensive, so the best way to play it is through the Wii U Virtual Console, but not everyone really has a Wii U, so yeah, there's not really a great way to play this game as of now. Maybe eventually it will be re-released on Switch or something, that would be nice. So for now, my advice would be, just stick with Pikmin 3, because it is easily my favorite in the series. Someday I would like to get to both Pikmin 2, in terms of redoing that playthrough, because I think that was my second playthrough on my channel. But I also want to get to Pikmin 3 as well, specifically now that Deluxe is out, with some changes that would make it easier to record. But even though the credits are wrapping up, we're not quite done with the game. So, by getting the good ending, we get a bonus movie, showcasing every enemy in the game. I assume this was pre-rendered, so they just put borders around it for the Wii version. You can tell the cursor is the GameCube version's cursor. A lot of this is actually from a beta, because certain enemies don't appear in specific regions, so it's kind of a nice look at some potential beta content. I like this song, by the way, it's very peppy. Like here, I feel like there are more enemies here than there would be in the regular game, because there was a burrowing snag even further up that would mean there would probably be around 4 there. There are dwarf bulborbs here, which there obviously aren't any because there are bulbears instead. But yeah, there will be a couple enemies that we haven't actually fought, including these, the dwarf bulbears. But we will be going back to fight a few mini-bosses next time. So we're not quite done with Pikmin. There are 2 more things I would like to show. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed playing through the game again. Playing through the game without losing any Pikmin is definitely my preferred way to play, because it's just a lot more challenging. You have to play a lot more safe, and it can be fun to see if you can keep all the Pikmin alive while still trying to be as efficient as possible. 13 days really isn't bad for me. I know that's nowhere near like world record or anything, but still. 12 days I think is my best, so I got really close actually. As an example of the swooping snitch bug in the Forest of Hope, this is an enemy we will be fighting later, the Gulix. Not in the Forest Navel like in this scene, and I think some of the lighting is different, so yeah, kind of an interesting look at the game. Yeah, obviously these backgrounds are just to compensate for them not wanting to remake these cutscenes in the Wii version. That actually would have been really cool if they had remade this scene, specifically, like recreated every shot in the Wii version. I think that would have been really neat. That's one of the other enemies we will be fighting a little bit later, not in the Distant Spring though. Again, a lot of weird enemy placements in this video. Also no pearly clam clamps in the Distant Spring regularly. There might be in a different mode that we might be going over at a later time. So yeah, overall, this is just a nice little fun game to play through. It doesn't usually take me very long. This playthrough took me longer than normal because I did have to restart quite a few recordings because of glitches, including glitches involving the puff stool, and also just, yeah, having to restart recordings a lot. But overall, I still like playing deathless runs of this game, and all 3 Pikmin games. Not counting Hey Pikmin because it's a very different kind of game. But yeah, overall, I know it's not for everyone, but I still will always like Pikmin as a series. Partly because of nostalgia, because a lot of things, haven't aged, specifically on the technical side of things, which is also something the later games do a lot better. Glitches still happen, but they're a lot less frequent, and also we can patch things out now because better technology. By the way, the previous enemy is the third enemy who we will be seeing next time. And that's gonna be a doozy. I do not promise that will be a deathless fight, because it is rough. This is alphabetical, so we should actually be getting really close to the end. Yeah, this is exclusive to the best ending. There is one more change for the best ending as well, on the very last screen that I want to show off. I don't think I ever addressed these, the log poles. Yeah, they're just newborn Wollywogs. Speaking of Wollywogs, yeah, that's how they fight. They're just really frustrating to fight in this game in particular, so it's just easier to avoid a lot of these enemies. Yeah, there are weird enemy placements all over here. I'm trying to think of anything beyond yellow in terms of the alphabet, like Y. Nope, that's it. So another change is it says the happy end instead of the end. But with that, I am going to call things here for now, and next time we're going to show off a few more miscellaneous things. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin.